Thanks, Mary, for having me. So I said, I'm originally from Cape Town, South Africa, where they had the World Soccer. I've been in Canada 48 years. Came to Canada with my 10-month-old son and my husband, with 500 Canadian dollars in our pocket. No job waiting for us to make a new life. And it all worked out. We don't have time to go through the whole story, but it all worked out. So a lot of what you said, I'm going to be repeating, and I think it's worthwhile for all of us. So it gives me great pleasure to address an audience of such caring individuals. You have unusual challenges when serving the needs of another human being at perhaps the most difficult time in your life and theirs. Caring for people who are not in the best of health, physically or mentally, can place unique stresses on these responsibilities for both of you. Through your efforts to provide comfort and security for others, there is the possibility of neglecting yourself. No? Maintaining life, service, work-life balance become even more important in our lives at this point. Burnout is a common complaint for those of us who take care of others. When you sacrifice self-care, when caring for another, and lack balance, can occur, resulting in, as I said, burnout and all kinds of physical and emotional challenges. So periodically remind yourself to care for yourself, because if you fail to care for yourself, we cannot care for others. When I'm presenting at hospitals and nursing homes, I tell my clients, I tell them, your patients are getting better, but you are going to land up in those beds if you don't do something for yourself. I can see some of you relating. So my health and wellness practice focuses on treatments for individuals and groups who are out of balance. However, my presence here comes from my mother, Edith, who died at the age of 94 and a half from dementia. And as you were saying, how do you prepare for that? I had no idea what she was going through. And you know, when I went, it's like, who is this woman? She's not my mother anymore. My mother was a very gracious woman, and she, you know, antagonistic, fighting with the nurses, and the rest goes on. And so that was a big challenge for myself and my sister. At least I had her to help me with the process. And Mom was on many medications, and often, as I said, not the most pleasant person. Certainly not the gracious woman that raised me. But still, I approached every visit with optimism that I would find her contented and happy. Yes, for years, as years progressed, I settled for content rather than the cantankerous and complaining that she went through. However, I often felt and left her side frustrated and angry and resentful, and then the guilt came. Anybody right there? Huh? Yep. And then the guilt came, like right on that doorstep was the guilt. And I know many of you have raised your hands and said, yeah, I can relate. So caring for people who are not in the best of health, those options are severely limited due to our stage and their stage in their life, and even ours. Like, Mom, I'm 74. Like, come on, I'm not young either. I have a family, I've got my job, but you know, they just are where they are. So coping for her and my own relationship reactions to her failing health, as well as my personal and professional challenges, it became a challenge for me, and as I said, my sister too. So I published my first book, Your Life is Now, which offers 9 principles for joyous living, which I'm going to share some of those with you today, which hopefully will help you on your journey caring for these people and, of course, taking care of yourself. So responding to the request of my clients, I wrote this book. They said, you got so many good tips. Why don't you put it on paper? Because I'm sure it can help many people. So there are 9 principles in this book. And chapter 1, the first principle says, of the 9 says, your life is now. Now's the time to live the life you want. Your life is now. Now's the time to live your life you want. I've actually got bookmarks at the back there with the principles on it, if anybody wants to pick up if you're interested. So when you are dissatisfied with where you are now in your life, there is no room for anything better to come to us. When you ask for what you want, but you're not happy in your now, nothing good can come. I know that you know what I'm talking about here. When we project into the future, but we have to be, nothing wrong with projecting into the future, but you have to be present where you are now. Now, I just wanted to sort of segue a minute. I get very excited and passionate when I start presenting. So if I'm going too fast, please just do that. I have no shame. I'm okay, because I can get carried away. So when we are happy, we're moving towards what we say we want. It is not about the destination, it's about the journey to the destination. So it's not about the destination, like getting to the end, it's about the journey to the destination. So we need to enjoy the journey. Simple ways to do that, anyone? Simple ways to enjoy the journey? I'm sure some of you are using, and I know you mentioned some too. Breathing, just breathing. Listening to happy music. Pet your dog, pet your cat. Take a short walk. Simple things. Just appreciate your life where it is now. There's so much in your life now that you can appreciate. Even just in this room right now, if you set aside all your problems, and right in this room, this wonderful gathering that we have, great speakers coming to share information. So there's always something positive to focus on as to go into the struggle and the negative. I know it's not easy, it's easier said than done, right? So we need to find ways to soothe ourselves, appreciate, get happy. So from this day forward, live in the moment. Do your best to approach life in a more positive way. I know many of you do that, but I know it's not always easy at times, right? Because we have these people that keep pulling us off our centers. So, for instance, if you're at work, take care of your work. If you are serving others, take care of them. And if you're at home, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Not only, this was a challenge for me with Mom, just scooping out at least 10 minutes for my day, something to do for me. And we can come up with all kinds of reasons, to do this, to do that, but we can certainly take time for us. Chapter 2. The second principle involves, and you touch on this, I was sitting back there going, yes, yes, yes. Your second principle involves your personal guidance system. Call it what you want. And the principle says, stay joyful, trust that your higher self will take you and guide you to where you want to be. You know that gut instinct, that feeling that you get? That's what I'm talking about. So with an open mind and a happy attitude, relax and allow your higher self to guide you to what it is that you want for your life and for the people that you're caring about. So how do you know when you're connected to your source, your guidance system? We feel happy. That's simply, we feel happy. When you're connected to source, you feel happy. When you're frustrated and worried and in those other negative places, you are not connected to your source. Then we can think clearly, we can make healthy decisions for ourselves and even for the people that we're looking after. So the simple answer for this is just get happy, stay happy. Yes, Marlene, easier said than done. Easier said than done. There's nothing wrong with being angry, depressed or sad. Nothing wrong with that. These are just feelings that we experience day to day. However, to improve our lives, we have to bring ourselves back to that place. Haven't you met someone, and 5 years ago, they were so angry and in a real depressed place, and they still stuck back there? I'm sure you have, right? And it's not serving them, and it's not going to serve you to stay back there. And of course, as I said, with my mom, her name was Edith, many times I would leave her side feeling quite frustrated and angry, and I had to remind myself, Marlene, you got to reconnect. You got to get into that happy place. So the first principle and the second principle is just living in the moment and staying joyful as much as you can. As I said, there's nothing wrong with going off course, but bring yourself back. Bring yourself back. I say your focus and your power is right here, right now. So which feels better, to be frustrated and angry, or to, just find something to appreciate? If you have grandchildren, thinking of them helps. Many, many little different things that can help you. The third principle, and a lot of people don't like to talk about this one, self-esteem. It affects everything. Self-esteem affects everything. This is our center of confidence. This is our center of confidence that helps us with our productivity and everything. And the Joyous principle says, stop looking into others' eyes for validation. Stop looking into others' eyes for validation. You get to choose how you want to live your life. Stop looking into others' eyes for validation. You get to choose how you want to live your life. Many of us, we don't love ourselves. We judge ourselves. No. We put ourselves down. No, those that little critic in the back of your head. We criticize ourselves. Maybe I didn't do enough, and I should have, could have, would have. Yes, I can relate. Yeah, but we are enough, and we have to sort of own that. We are enough. You are a wonderful group of people doing wonderful work, helping people. You've got to keep reminding yourself about that. Grumpy old people are the subject of television humor, right? What's that movie? Grumpy Old Men or something? Popular film and songs all about these grumpy old people. And these bad habits don't help us. So find ways to bring yourself back to that joy and to remind yourself that you are good enough. You are worthy and you deserve to be happy. This is the challenge when we caregivers. It's like, do I give 90% to mom, or do I take care of myself first? If I don't, this vessel will be empty, the well's running dry, and I'm just trying to do this stuff for people and not putting myself first. And it's not being selfish. Does anybody in this room think putting yourself first is being selfish? I know you don't want to own it. So let me ask you this question. Does anybody come from a functional family? Thank you. We all have a story. We all have a story. We have challenges. We all have challenges. We have a story. But it's not, it doesn't have to own us. It doesn't have to own us. We have to just keep reminding ourselves that we are wonderful and we are good enough. So negative feelings affects everything. I cannot stress that point enough. So if you're having family challenges, it's affecting your business, it's affecting your personal life. If I have challenges at home, I'm taking it to work with me. No? We think we leave it at home? No, because we take ourselves wherever we go. I had a client, her name is Leslie, and when she went to work, based on how her boss greeted her, she decided what kind of day she was going to have. If he said, "Hi, Leslie," and she said, "Oh, I'm going to have a good day." And if he was grumpy, had nothing to do with her, she took it personally, and she decided to have a bad day. And so did she have a bad day? Yes. So, we have to sort of stop looking into others' eyes for validation. Choose what you want for yourself. And we need to let go of all those challenges. I remember I asked, do you come from a functional family? So we have a story, we have stuff. It's time to take it out of the closet and say, yeah, I'm this too. And there's nothing wrong with that. Once you own it, you will become happier. I became a seminar junkie because I was fired. I worked at York University, and I was fired from the job. Anybody been fired from a job? Your self-esteem plummets. So I became a seminar junkie to help myself to get back to feeling good again. And I had challenges with mom. I wrote a book about mother. It's called actually Loving Mother No Matter What. So I wrote a book. But towards the end of our life, we got along well. But she was my challenge. Because why? We were so much alike. We even look alike. If you look at the picture in the back of the page, you'll see I look like Mom. And I was sexually abused in my young age, and I had anorexia. So those are things that I knew I had to heal to become that happy person. Become that happy person. And so I'm encouraging you to be willing to look back. We don't have to stay there forever. Just go, oh, okay, I see. This is who I am too, and let's move on now. Let's move on. The next principle, as I said, when I'm talking about us taking back and owning that you are good. Because when I look around this room today, I see people who are every reason to feel good about yourself. For what you do and for who you are, for the kind of work that we do. Your generosity of spirit is a good indication of your self-worth. And so regardless of the reaction that you get from others, maintain your center of authenticity. Maintain your center of authenticity. So you're here today. Give yourself a pat on the back. How many people are caregivers and they, for many reasons could not get here, but you brought yourself here. Come on, give yourself a pat on the back. You brought yourself here. That's a good step already, right? So you are here. Therefore, you are truly kind and a generous and a wonderful person because you want to learn more of how to help yourself and of course, then helping them. So, but before we can appreciate ourselves, we have to identify our authentic self. Not the person who someone else wants us to be, something authentic, you, just you. For instance, in your personal life, how many times have you said yes to something when your heart was saying or your mind was saying no, no, no? I'm sure you can relate. You said yes, but you really wanted to say no. That stress, that tension is an indication of stress, which doesn't help us. So can you just close your eyes for a minute? I want to take you through a simple little exercise. So can you play with me? Close your eyes for a minute, please. So think of a time when you said yes, but you wanted to say no. Think of a time you said yes, but you wanted to say no. Allow yourself to feel the feelings that came up when you said yes, but you really wanted to say no. Great. I don't want you to stay there too long, but I'm sure the tension was starting to build in your body. Yes. Maybe clenching your fist, heart palpitations. So that's not being true to ourselves. Now, I know we can't always say no. I know we can't always say no. The question was asked about what if there's only you and no one else in the family and they don't want to help out? What do we do then? So I know that's a challenge. But it helps you to see how much stress starts to gather in your body when you're saying yes, but you really don't want to do it. Can you close your eyes again for a minute, please? Thank you. So this time, think of something that you like to do, something that you love doing. Great, I'm sure you're experiencing, I won't take time to ask questions, but I'm sure if the body starts to soften, you started to feel lighter, blood was flowing, yes. So that comfort comes as soon as you And you said that too, and as I said, I'm sitting there and I'm going, yes, yes, yes. Choice. We have choice. Sometimes it's a difficult choice to make, but we do have choice. Your power is always in the now, to choose what is good and what is best for you. And I said, I acknowledge that sometimes we just have to do it, maybe with a little resentment, but we do it. And make sure that you just bring yourself back or find something to soothe that frustration that came up. I love Eleanor Roosevelt summed it up best. No one can make you feel bad about yourself without your permission. Nobody can make you feel bad about yourself without your permission. So as I said, if you choose to do it and you really don't want to do it, it was your choice. So nobody forced you. You chose to do it. We are only as powerful as our choices, and we need to give ourselves permission to choose. So, start celebrating yourself. Start celebrating yourself. So my question is, are you ready to feel good, really good, right now, today? Right now, today. Are you ready to feel good, really good, right now, today? It is simply as easy as being true to yourself, as being true to you. So in order to feel good today and every day, there's a few flyers, I actually have a 30-second exercise. 30 seconds to bring you back to your center. I may not have enough copies, and if I run out, leave me your email address and I'll make sure I send you one. 30-second exercise to bring you back to your center after you've had some frustration going on. So let's just stand up for a minute. I see this gentleman standing up. Let's just stand up and just stretch for a second before we continue, because you've been sitting through Eleanor's presentation and now mine. Okay, let's just stretch. Give it a little stretch. Good. Good. Rolls. Shoulders. Good. If you were close, I get you to massage your other shoulders, but all right. Have a seat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sit down. And the reason I want you to do that, because the next chapter, which is chapter 4, speaks about fear and anxiety, which Eleanor touched on in a sense through loneliness. It can be very scary and fearful. So the fourth principle discusses the opposite of authenticity, as it deals with our fears and anxiety. Our authentic selves have no fear, because our authentic selves acknowledges our personal power. We just tend to forget it, meaning that you have choice. So the Joyous principle number 4 says, our fear is our higher self, your source, that inner guidance system, telling us that whatever we fear, we desire to change. So fear is basically just an indicator for you, saying that right now, this thing that you're anxious and fearful about, whatever it is, you would just like the situation to be better. So if it's a challenge about your job, you'd like things to be going smoother. If it's a challenge about your health, you'd like it to be different. So that's all fear is. It's just an indicator that you would like whatever this thing is that you're worrying about and frustrated and anxious about, you would just like it to be different. Fear, we fear the unknown, we fear failure, death, illness, and as I said, being alone. So where fear resides is the exact, precise area that we'd like to have changes in our life. Fear sucks our energy. Fear sucks the energy. Fear is contagious. It's sort of it's crippling. Fear is the most negative feeling that we can experience. We can't be happy having fearful thoughts. And so how do we deal with fear? Especially in others. We may think we're ignoring it. We may think we're walking away from it when mom might have to go to the nursing home and mommy was, worried about something as I said, the dementia was happening, and I wasn't understanding what was really coming down, my sister and I. And she would say certain things, and I would be leaving, worrying what am I going to do about this, you know? So I had to just find ways to bring myself back to my center. So what indicated that, as I said, do we have that we don't take other people's fear? And it doesn't help us. It does not help us. I say simply, breathe when fear comes. Breathe when fear comes. Let's take a nice deep breath. Another one. It's as simple as taking a few breaths. It just helps us to clear the mind, to think and have a better perspective, on what the situation is. Breathing is a simple thing. It doesn't cost money. Does it cost money? No. What does the doctors do when the baby's born? Slap them so they can take up. Do they still slap them? Do they still? I don't know. Sure, they still slap them. Anyway, they want the child to breathe, right? So breath is life. So take those breaths. Now my next chapter, chapter 5, I love this one, relationships. And you touched on relationships in many ways. As I said, I was going back there and going, yes, Eleanor. The word relationships refers something that's happening between at least two people, and most times we being one of them as the caregiver in this case. And the Joyous principle for chapter 5 says, right now, you have the power to have happy relationships. Right now, you have the power to have happy relationships. Get happy, and you'll have happy relationships. This stuff is simple, sometimes too simple for us. So if you want to have happy relationships, then have you heard this say, the buck starts here? So when you're happy, and if I walk into my mom's in the nursing home and I've got the smile on my face, I'm going to have a better, interaction with her as to meeting her in maybe her grumpy little place where she is. She was so funny. I just got to say, she was so funny. She loved to be negative, and I would switch the topic. Oh, Mom, did Jean call? My sister lives in Vancouver. Did Jean call you? She'd go, yeah, and she'll stay there for a few seconds, and she's back to the negativity. Oh, it was a real game doing that with her. Anyway, that's where Mom was. I had to sort of just accept that that's who she is now. There's nothing I could do to change her. So if you want to have happy relationships, get happy. This stuff is too simple, isn't it? It's too simple, but it's a challenge for us. So get happy to have happy relationships. And have you heard, as I said, the buck starts here. The buck starts here. You got to get happy. You have to get happy first if you want that. If you want to be appreciated, you have to become the appreciator. Most times we're looking for the other person to do it for us first. Start with you. Look in the mirror. That's a good place to look. When we want to judge somebody, look in the mirror and go, oh, maybe I do this too. Own that, Marlene. Own that part. And as self-esteem plays a very big role in how we feel about ourselves in relationships, especially when it comes to, the opposite sex. And we don't have time for that today. But anyway. So as I said with Mom, it was a challenge at many, many times. How's my time? Okay. So balance is the main thing. Balance meaning, when you in that negative place, find a way to bring yourself back to that center, to your authentic place. We are good. You are enough. You have to remind yourself that, you're doing enough. You're doing the best that you can. And especially with the kind of what you do with your life. And Mommy never told me, oh, Marlene, I'm so happy that you come almost every day. No, because number one, as I said, dementia, she just didn't understand. But many times, the more you give, the more they want, right? You heard the term, where there's a giver, there's a taker? Yeah, where there's a giver, there's a taker. And, I had to find the balance with that for myself. Pardon me? But, oh, yeah, no, it's okay. I hear you. So bring more joy into your life by you starting to be the one to be the joyful person. Chapter 6, forgiveness. I see a few people do this. Forgiveness, that's a challenge for many of us. So my question is, when it comes to forgiveness, would you rather be right or would you rather be happy? Unfortunately, many of us would rather be right. And so we live a life of misery because we, digging our heels in. And the Joyous principle says, own your part in your relationship. Own your part in your relationship, and then there's no need to forgive. So own your part in the relationship, and then there's no need to forgive. It is not the unforgivable act that continues to hurt us. It is our unwillingness to let go of the pain, to move forward and be happy. I want to ask you to tell me who you are in the room about this. I had to do that myself. I was sexually abused, remember? I had to get past that. I was fired from a job. That's just a few examples. We forgive to benefit ourselves. We forgive to benefit ourselves, not the receiver of the forgiving, or to change the person's behavior like a form of manipulation. We basically forgive to forgive ourselves so we can become happy, be healthy. It affects everything. It affects everything. As I said, there's nothing wrong with being angry. As I spoke earlier, you've met people, and they're still stuck back there. Sometimes the person's already 6 foot under, and they're still not willing to forgive. Yes? I see your hand, Mary. Thank you. Mary keeps telling me to slow down. That's good. So as we mature, we understand the benefits of forgiving. I'm hoping those that have hurt us. And through forgiveness, we make room for more joy and happiness in our lives. In my book, Your Life is Now, there's an exercise. And basically it's a simple little exercise, and if you want to try this, to create a sacred space and divide it into 2 parts. On the one side, you can use objects, or you can put the name of the person. I think I'm ready to let this go now. I'm not quite there yet, but I think I'm ready to let go of this now. And then as you work through your processes, you can move them to the other side of the altar and then do a little ritual and burn it, whatever you want to do. I suggest that if you're willing to move forward, if you're willing to become happier, I recommend that little exercise. Now, if you're living alone, it's easy to do, but if you're living with people, like, what's that, right? But you can find a little place nobody knows, and just put little objects in there. It could be a pen, a paper clip. You know who the person or whatever the situation represents. So I recommend that you do that little exercise if you wish. Does everybody have a pen in their hand? I should. Does anybody have a pen or something in their hand? Are you okay? Anybody needs a pen? Anybody has a pen? Yes, you have a pen? Okay. Not a cup, just your pen. So hold the pen in your hand or pencil that you have, please. Now, forgiveness can be as simple as this. Just drop it. She says I can drop it. Thank you. But forgiveness can be as simple as that. Just drop it. And it's something simple that you may want to, if you really feel I'm wanting to get past this now, do the little pencil thing. Just drop it when those thoughts come up. It's as simple as that. Thank you for participating. I just want to say thank you for your time and your attention, and thank you for coming. And thank you, Mary. And I'm done, and I have my 30-second exercise at the back if anybody wants one.